the myth that I made $70,000 by financing my Ferrari through a policy.
Great one. Yeah, that's good.
I was going to say that for the last, but
That's
when you did
good.
the intro and you mentioned TikTok, I'm like, I'm going to go ahead and jump in case. Did you have that on there on your list?
No, I did not.
Okay.
That's a good one. That's a really good one. Yeah.
Well, what I will say, great videos like, hey, I just bought this Ferrari and by doing so, my cash value increased $70,000, which my first reaction is like,
damn.
Heck yeah. Let's do it.
I want some of that.
I mean, Ferraris really aren't my thing, but I mean, you throw in a Range Rover, or those new Hummers. Have you seen the new Hummers?
No.
They look, yeah. So I'm not really a car guy, but I mean, if we get 2 Hummers for the Ferrari, I mean, but then when that initial reaction goes like, it kind of sounds weird. How can you create wealth by buying depreciating assets? I mean, so that to me just doesn't make sense, right? Which doesn't mean it's untrue. What it means is we need to dive in a little deeper. And I will say, in essence, what he said is that his cash value increased $70,000 during the time that he had financed his car, $70,000 more than what he had put into it. Not arguing that it increased $70,000. What I am arguing is the reasoning of that increase was not because you used it to finance a Ferrari. That's just how these policies are built. It would have naturally grown 70,000 whether you use it or not, because we need to remember the main reason why we're using life insurance is because we have the ability to borrow against it. So when we use money, whether it's to buy a Ferrari or a fourplex, we're not using the money from your policy. We're simply using that as collateral. And we're borrowing from the investment arm of the insurance company. So that 70,000 was an increase, was not directly related to buying a Ferrari. And one thing I thought was interesting, and again, I'm looking at the numbers. He said the Ferrari was $206,000 and the monthly payment was $2,700 for 5 years. If you were to multiply 2,700 by 60, the total is 162,000. Now, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe there was a mistake, or maybe there's some a missing piece, or maybe I misunderstood it.
Maybe there's a rounding error.
Yeah. And what I'm saying is, and you will see this a lot on some other people talking about infinite banking, that using this is gonna just create wealth out of thin air. That's not how it works. And what I will say, I don't think it's intentional. But some of these people are they're spreading. I think they don't fully understand it. So I don't think there's any ill intent. But at a certain point, if you're going to throw some content to other people, I mean, there's an obligation to make sure we're framing it correctly. You want to see the entire episode? Click here. If you want to learn how investors use infinite banking to increase their returns and lower their taxes, click here. If you want to see if infinite banking is for you and you have some questions, hop on a discovery call with us and one of our coaches. The link for that will be in the description.